Hello and welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be playing the Generalist and we are going to be starting with the Ghost Axe. Okay, and as you can see here we have plus 2 melee damage for every 1 ranged damage you have and plus 1 ranged damage for every 2 melee damage you have. And then you can only equip 3 melee weapons and 3 ranged weapons. So this character is actually quite simple, you know, very straightforward, right? You have 3 melee weapons, our Ghost Axe, and then 3 range weapons, the Ghost Scepter. So we can get max HP, and we can also get stacking percent damage, right? The axe gives stacking percent damage, the scepter gives stacking max HP. Okay, quite simple. Very simple strategy. We also did this when we were playing the Mutant. It was a little bit different, because on Mutant, you cannot, or you don't have the restriction of only being allowed to go 3 melee and 3 range weapons. You can just do whatever you want. So this is a little bit different. Also, I'm just trying to stack up enemies and knock down as many as possible. Okay, we do not want to lose luck in the early game. Losing luck is not great. And since we're going to get a ton of melee and range damage from taking these upgrades, I could actually just take this here, to be honest, and I think I will. And that's just because any melee or ranged upgrade will give you the other one as well. Because 1 range damage is equal to 2 melee damage, and, you know, so on and so forth, right? So, we are going to take a Ghost Flint, and then we'll go ahead and buy this and combine it, and buy this and combine it as well. Also, we're definitely taking a Lost Duck. We love the duck around here. Duck is super nice. They did nerf it. Old Duck would have given us 10 luck, but I think that was extremely, uh, just way too high value, to be honest. So I think the nerf was definitely deserved. Because if anything, I still think it's quite strong. Just 8 luck for -1 elemental damage, and elemental damage is really negligible on a ton of characters, including the Generalist, right? We don't care about that stat, so it's just 8 luck for very cheap. Again, just more base damage. Anything that is melee or range damage we want to take, stack that up as much as possible. And we're not going to buy the duck. We want to reroll for our weapons first, since we can only see 2 at a time. We actually already can't really buy anything. So we can buy this, but if we roll, we will only see 1 item, or 1 other weapon and 1 other item, right? So we're just going to go ahead and buy the duck and lock the hat. Propeller hat is nice as well. It's kind of like the duck, right? Plus 8 luck, -1 elemental, plus 10 luck, -2 damage percent. And damage percent is of course important, but it's less so important to maintain when you're playing the Generalist, since you do just get a ton of damage percent from your axe stacking up. It's not super necessary to have, or to be to avoid buying things that reduce our damage percent. Also, sorry, I just kind of stood still while I was talking. Let's focus up again. Yeah, we just want to clear out the enemies, let them stack up so we can get as many kills as possible. And more melee damage, okay? We're not even rolling, right? We're just looking for those ranged and melee damage upgrades to increase our base stat damage here. And we are going to go ahead and buy the propeller hat, okay? And we're going to reroll because we only have the Ghost Axe locked. Okay? Reroll. Oh, the bag. Okay. I talked about the bag a little bit in my recent videos, but it actually has been performing a lot better than I expected, since I kind of just took it as an experiment to see how well it did. And it gives a surprising return on investment, right? I just spent 22 materials, and I only need to get 2 crates to make that worthwhile. I will say it is a little RNG. Sometimes I barely get anything out of it, but I will say that the 22 materials invested, I think, usually pays off pretty quickly. So we're just making sure not to get hit by the spitters. Okay, easy enough, right? 4 melee damage also gives us 2 range damage. Of course, we're taking that. A coupon, a ghost axe, and we can also take a ghost scepter. We're going to reroll 1 time. Okay, this is interesting. So the baby with a beard, right? It scales with your range damage, 100% of your range damage. And this is pretty much our main stat because these are both just interchangeably our main stat. And I think this item is extremely strong. I almost want to skip it because I don't want to take something that will insta-win the run. You know what, I will skip it. But I do say if you find something like this, I think this is incredibly strong. You should definitely just take it. it makes the run significantly easier, which is what I don't want to do, because it feels like that would make this run sort of more so. It would make it feel like I won based on luck, which I just want you guys to see. You do not need to get lucky to win. Just play like normal, you know, dodging where you need to dodge, clumping up the enemies so you can hit them all at once. Also, we definitely need some armor. I think I said this before on the last video with Mutant, but if you take ethereal weapons, the one drawback is that you don't have any armor. You actually go into the negatives very quickly, right? Because of your set bonus. It gives you dodge and takes away your armor. However, we're not going to pass up, you know, a tier 2 melee damage upgrade. That is an absolute insta-click from us. And we're going to take some range and range damage. Okay, this kind of balances out, right? And these two are just very much worth. Basically plus 15 range, plus 1 range damage, plus 2 melee damage, right? When you combine all the stats together. Here, the scope is also pretty high value, since we do have that stacking attack speed, right? So anything that gets rid of attack speed, damage percent, or max HP can be pretty high value. And we are going to roll one more time. Okay, this is incredible. Hedgehog is really, really high value for us, right? Black belt can also be extremely good, and I am going to take it actually. Luck is nice, of course, but you don't necessarily need a ton of luck on this character, since you do just scale naturally with your weapons. Basically, the longer you live, the more you scale, right? So all you need to do is not die. Which sounds like, ahaha, just don't die, right? But it genuinely is just a test of your movement most of the time. Decision making and like how you're moving between enemies. So in this case, I'm just going to... Oh, sort of zoned out for a second. Yeah, in this case... Sorry, I'm kind of focusing. Okay, go ahead and clear all the enemies. Okay. So yeah, we made it to the wave easily enough, right? But yeah, since we do have technically infinitely stacking attack speed, damage percent, and max HP, then other stats like armor become way more valuable, crit chance becomes way more valuable. So I will say you don't need crit chance to win. There's nothing wrong with taking a little bit here and there. And even though we do have that stacking attack speed, a tier 3 upgrade is kind of just, you know, a tier 3 upgrade at the end of the day. We're going to go ahead and take it. And we will definitely be buying the black belt because we don't need luck to win on this character at all. It is great, of course, however, we don't need it, like I said. We're going to go ahead and lock the ghost flint. The butterfly, really high value. We don't need elemental damage. This gives us some survivability. And HP regen we could take, of course, but I think that it's not super necessary either. We can definitely trade off some HP regen for some more useful stats. Also, the one issue with these weapons, I will say, is that you have a very minimal amount of cleave damage or AoE damage. If you only run with one axe, then you have, yeah, very, very little amounts of ability to clear out big clumps of enemy, like, efficiently, I should say. You definitely can clear them out, right? Also, I just dodged, I think I dodged twice, so I definitely got a little lucky there. That is also... Oh, okay. Wow. This is what I was talking about when I said, like, you just have to play better. So you don't get hit. So when you have ethereal weapons, you get punished a lot more, right? For getting hit randomly. But it's also my fault, because I've been quite greedy with the damage stats. I did not need to take as many damage stats as I have been. I could definitely have gone for some armor. If I just had even 0 armor instead of -3, I would be super safe. I am going to go ahead and buy all of these. Hedgehog, super high value, right? A tier 1 item, extremely cheap, and it gives you melee and range damage, which both get doubled by your passive. And we get another Ghost Axe. Okay, so in this case, I am actually going to go for double Ghost Axe. Another Ghost Axe here. And yeah, that's right. We could also take a Boxing Glove. It is good stats, right? 1 melee damage. But I don't want to have a ton of knockback. I feel like it makes the game less convenient when you're knocking back enemies way more than you would like. This is more true for melee weapons than ranged weapons, I'd say. I think if you use knockback on ranged weapons, it can be completely fine. But since melee weapons, you need to be quite close to actually hit things. Having super high knockback makes it a lot more awkward to play the game. Feels like less efficient by a big amount. Also, we're actually dodging this time around, so we're not just getting hit by everything. You can see the game is a lot less exciting when you just actually dodge. So I want to kind of run through this group a little bit. Oh, careful. I'm running through the center here, so I will get hit. And that's just because it's the end of the wave, so I want to clear as many enemies as I can in the center. Also here, I'm actually going to take some dodge, since we do have pretty high dodge, right? We get the dodge 18% from our weapons, and once we get 2 more weapons, we will have 30% naturally. In this case, we can't actually buy this because of the the weapon limitations. So we're going to recycle this one and buy this one. Okay, HP for damage percent. Also, Alienize can be very good on this character since you do have, once again, stacking HP. So I will go ahead and take that. There is technically one drawback to this, which is that if the Alienize gets the kill, I'm 99.5% sure you don't get any stats from your weapons unless something has changed and I didn't know about it. But yeah, Alien Eyes getting kills does take away stacks from your weapons. I don't think that means Alien Eyes isn't good. It just means if you're really, really strict about only stacking your weapons, then you probably don't want to take items that deal damage. But I do think Alien Eyes is really good on this character, since you have so much HP stacking. I will say though, we only have one scepter right now, which means we're not actually getting that much max HP. Though we obviously are getting a lot. We haven't taken a single max HP stat, and we're sitting at 28 max HP right now. Just keep dodging, don't get hit randomly. Try to clear out the big clumps. Since we do only have 2 axes, we want to try to time our attacks effectively. We can actually hit like a lot of enemies, not just 1 or 2, right? I really want to get this loot. Okay, nice. I killed the looter right at the end, so I get the loot crate. And this. This is interesting. I'll actually take this. I think the HP recovered from consumables is not relevant. And crit chance is quite nice. And finally, we get some armor. Okay, so we got a lot safer now. When we do have that armor, makes the game just way safer. We also do not want to take anything that really takes away from our armor. You might think, oh, it's plus 8% dodge, right? No, it's not worth it. I promise you, you do not want to be in the negative with armor, even if you do have maxed out, 60% dodge, you still don't want to be playing the game with negative amounts of armor. It just makes it a lot harder to stay alive. Okay, we get a Ghost Axe upgrade, one more roll, and we get a snail. One of the most praised items on my channel, probably. I'm a big fan of the snail. I think this item is incredible. I think the snail and the lost duck are probably 2 of my favorite items. Snail, aside from the snail, we only have technically one other item that slows enemies, which is the ugly tooth. Is when you hit enemies, you give them a stacking slow debuff that lasts until you kill them. And then the snail just is a passive slow debuff, so you just automatically have slower enemies for the entirety of the run. Every single enemy has an 8% slow debuff. Or reduction, I should say, to their actual speed. I think it's just incredible. Super high value. And then on top of that, we also have the Wandering Bot, which usually I don't mention since it's not like a buff or a debuff. It is just in a little robot that floats around you in a circle and slows enemies that it comes in contact with, right? So it just like moves like this, and then it will slow enemies as it touches them. But I don't think it really counts since it doesn't actually put a debuff on the enemies per se. It's more like when they're in the radius, it slows them down, right? Also, we're not taking this. We don't want to lose any ranged or melee damage. More dodge percent. Okay, so we're happy to take dodge percent if it's given to us as a stat. However, we don't want to take it in exchange for armor. Okay, lifesteal is also quite nice. We don't really care too much about range. We have 40 range. That's plenty. No need to go overboard. The mushroom. I kind of feel like I should take it, but I'm not going to. I refuse. the piggy bank and the ghost scepter. In this case, I'm actually going to skip the piggy bank because I think I'd prefer to just roll very high amounts of money every single round rather than trying to stack up a piggy bank. Also, this could be good, of course, right? 8 melee damage, 8 range damage. They get super amplified by your passive, but we only have 43 max HP. If this was a later wave, I'd be more inclined to take it, but we're going to get a lot more max HP as you'll be seeing by the end of the run. And then the ball and chain. This could also be interesting, but as you see, our attack speed is actually already past 0.75 seconds, sorry, on most of our weapons aside from the axes. So capping our attack speed is not going to be a good idea here. Range damage. So mutation can be good. I'm definitely going to take that actually. Uh, Knockback I don't value very highly. I always say this, right? I was just talking about this a moment ago. And the lure, so we can get 2 loot crates during this wave. Super happy with that. And one nice thing about the general list is that if you don't make, like 4 consecutive mistakes in a single early wave, then you will just win the run by the time you get to this point. As long as you make sure you're not sitting at super low armor value, you will pretty much already be completely safe by the time you get to wave 11 here. Because this wave, the issue with this wave for most characters, or for many characters, is that you don't have the damage to kill pursuers sometimes. Or it just is a little bit more difficult. But as you can see here, we are just absolutely wiping them out without any issue. Also, we have a ton of looters running around, so we need to make sure we get these. Come back up here. Clear out some enemies. Okay. And wave's over. And as you can see, we were completely safe there. The only time we almost died, even remotely close to dying, was one of those earlier waves, right? Where I made some mistakes. That was my fault. Shouldn't have even gotten close to dying. And yeah, here we are going to take more damage because we're extremely greedy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're extremely greedy, so we're going to take more damage. And I will be taking this though. So the armor is really high value. We are now sitting at 0 armor, which might not seem like a big deal. This is a big deal. Being -3, -4, 5, that's a lot of additional damage taken. You do not want that. Also, more butterflies and lost ducks. Let's roll one more time. Okay, that's not bad. And then we can go ahead and lock all of these. Actually, we can't lock the ghost flint since we can only have 3 melee weapons. It is a little bit difficult to keep them all and upgrade them all consistently. That is the one issue with the generalist if you do this. You could bypass that by maybe not taking ghost flints, for example, just only going axes and scepters. Then it's a little bit easier to upgrade them to tier 4, but I don't think it's necessary. Also, we're struggling a little bit here because we're quite slow. We actually need to get some speed. I could have taken speed on the last level up upgrade, but I just wanted to be greedy and take more damage for no reason. I will say in that last upgrade screen, if you were paying attention, there was I believe a 9% speed upgrade. I definitely should have taken that. It's not even close. This would be much easier if we had some speed here to move towards the boss with. Because to get to the boss, I kind of have to run through a lot of enemies, which is not really super safe. Okay, we're not taking a tier 1 speed upgrade though. Okay, we really don't need more of any of these, so but I'll take some luck, that's fine. And again, these are the stats that we have stacking up permanently, so it's a little awkward to take any of them, to be honest. Though I will say damage percent is probably more valuable regardless, in this case, just because we have such high base stats, right? 38 melee and 19 range damage. So we're going to buy this. We're going to sell our 1 ghost axe here and buy a tier 2 ghost axe. Reroll. And a gentle alien. This is actually really nice. It's similar on the mutant if you play with ethereal weapons. Just adding more enemies to the field gives you more chances to stack up, right? So it is pretty good. And repost. I'm sure you guys have seen. I take this on a lot of characters that I use melee weapons on. And sometimes you skip it, right? It just depends on the situation. But a lot of times taking this on a melee character is completely fine, even if you have zero dodge, right? The 2 melee damage can just be that valuable. And so in this case, I am going to take it because it also gives us range damage. It's not just 2 melee damage, it's also +1 range damage. And you can see our damage is pretty consistently above 100 per hit. I believe our scepters are doing the least damage because scepters have the lowest scaling technically. And that's just because range damage, range damage weapons have lower scaling than melee weapons do. Okay. And yeah, I mean, at this point, the run is pretty much over. If you don't make some, like I said, if you just don't make, 3 or 4 mistakes in a row early game and get hit back to back, you should be able to survive the early waves fairly easily. Of course, since I am recording, sometimes I lose a little bit of focus while I'm talking. So early game, I did almost die one time. I forgot which wave it was, but you should not have any issues if you're just sitting there, right, focused, playing your game. And I don't think we really want any of these, to be completely honest. I'm gonna go ahead and skip. Or skip. Okay, armor. This makes the run genuinely impossible to lose. We have 72 max health, max HP. Now we have 17% reduced damage. 3 armor just made us 17% tankier. Right, that is a bit ridiculous. We could take a spicy sauce, but I'm not super interested. Also don't think we need this anymore. Feels like a waste of our money at this point. Ball tree, on the other hand, is quite nice. And range is also quite nice. Okay. Those are some of the stats we really want right now. And we got some more upgrades. Super happy with that. Ghost Flint. We can't actually buy this because we're only playing with... Yeah. You see, we have 3 melee weapons, right? We can't fit this in our inventory anyway. The blindfold is interesting. I think it's worth it because crit chance is so valuable for us. Also, duct tape is interesting. Normally, I would never take this. But in this case, since we don't need the max HP, getting more armor, another 4% damage reduction is kind of just a big deal. We lose 2 health, but we gain another 4% damage reduction. I think I'd say right now, at this point in the run, right? Armor plus crit chance are our 2 most valuable stats. Okay, I'm kind of just walking in a straight line. Let me kill the boss before I start talking a bunch. But you can see here, I think I got hit, 3 or 4 times? But I actually dodged half of the attacks, right? Because I have almost 50% dodge. And the ones that did hit me got healed up pretty quickly, since we do have a lot of lifesteal. So yeah, just getting survivability stats should make your run completely unlosable once you get to these later waves. I say that as I'm getting hit by everything, but I think that just proves my point. You can see I got hit so many times. I think I've gotten hit maybe 10 times this wave. And that is definitely not necessary. You can easily dodge everything in Brotato, in my opinion. If you have enough damage, you can dodge virtually everything in the game. Because you're killing enough enemies to make it so you can dodge the rest of the ones that are alive. This thing, okay, this is pretty interesting. It is actually an easy pickup. 57 materials is not worth losing 10 melee and 5 range damage. That is a huge boost to our damage. Crit chance, a tier 2 crit chance in this case. We could also take some speed, but you know what? I'll go ahead and take some speed here. So now we are finally in the positive with our speed. That will also make it a lot harder to get hit. Another mutation we don't need, right? Upgrade our Ghost Scepter. Unfortunately, we cannot buy this. Alien Tongue. Oh, you know what? I'll actually go ahead and buy this, because we did have reduced pickup range. I don't think pickup range is super important. You can definitely just skip this 99% of the time. I think I rarely ever take this item as well, to be honest. But I'll just go ahead and take it here, because we did just take reduced pickup range. So this way we can extract those materials a little bit easier. Because having to walk directly over materials to pick them up is just really obnoxious and inconvenient, so don't want to have negative pickup range. It's just a quality of life thing, to be honest. But yeah, you can see here we're doing completely fine, right? So we have 79 max health at this point, 80 max health now. Get hit as much as we want, we just dodge half the attacks, and the other half we just heal through. And I also think, personally, one of the strongest items in the, or I should say weapon sets in the game is probably the ethereal items. Um, that is just my opinion. It obviously depends on the character you're playing, but I do think the ethereal weapons are extremely strong on compared to like most of the weapons. Same goes for the thief dagger, though that also, just depends which character you're playing. But the thief daggers and the ethereal weapons are kind of very powerful. They just infinitely scale on their own without you doing anything. We'll take crit chance here. We don't really need more armor. We have almost 90 max health. We're gonna have probably 100 soon, by like next wave even. And then we have 21% damage reduction. So we might as well just take more damage here. Crit chance is a big deal. And the recycling machine. Okay, this is interesting. So this actually pays you back a lot more quickly than I originally thought. So I did go ahead and buy it here. And we get a Ghost Axe upgrade. Okay, unfortunately we have to sell this one to buy this one though. Another bit of armor. You know what, sure. I think it won't kill anyone, right? To lose a bit of max health for some armor. And we get another tier 4 Ghost Axe. This upgrade is actually a big deal, because it does reduce the amount of kills we need by 2. You see, every 12 enemies you kill during a wave give you plus 1% damage. And then this one, plus... Oh, sorry. Wait, did I misremember? Wait, is actually... It might have reduced the amount by 4 enemies, then, from tier 3 to tier 4. Wait, if that's true, I actually didn't remember that. So, that's even bigger deal than what I just said, because I thought it was only 2 less enemies needed. So every 12 kills though, we get an additional 1% damage boost permanently. And I don't know if anyone here plays, for example, maybe League of Legends, but I really enjoy permanently stacking things. So like for example, I think like Dark Harvest, the keystone, right? The keystone in League of Legends, where if you hit an enemy that is below half HP, you deal a sudden burst of damage, and every time you proc this, it increases the damage permanently on the Dark Harvest. So it's kind of the same feeling, right? It's very nice just having permanently stacking stats. And in this case, it's not just very nice, it is also ridiculous, because you can see I think I just hit someone for 400 damage with one of my Ghost Axes, right? So yeah, that says all you really need to know about ghost weapons. We're at wave 16, hitting for 400 damage occasionally. Okay, we don't really want that, of course. I'm going to skip it. This is technically good value, but we're not going to take it. Oh, we can upgrade this though, and take this. Also, I don't think we actually need more armor. We'll skip that. And there's nothing here to take. We would like to get a little bit of range, and then just crit chance. And yeah, I mean that's it. Just some range and crit chance, just to fully sort of min-max our damage. But I will say we could probably skip to the last wave and win right now. If there was an option to skip to the final boss, I'm pretty sure I could beat it. Though these next few waves are going to make it easier and quicker, technically. Since by the time I get through these waves, I don't think I'll even have to really dodge very much when it gets to the final wave. And our damage will go up a lot just from these few waves. It's not the best way for our weapon, right? We just have a lot of very tanky enemies. So we don't actually get to stack very much, but that's okay. Just clear everything out like normal. And yeah, I feel like my commentary doesn't matter anymore, since I will say this run is... I think I said this on wave 11, right? The run is pretty much over at this point. We're just kind of playing it out. Yeah, let's see what we get here. Okay, some lifesteal. We will actually go ahead and take this. It's not bad, right? 11% lifesteal. Lifesteal gets sort of more effective the more of it you have. We'll definitely take a lure. A fin. I was just talking about this lifesteal, but I'm actually looking at it for the speed. I think 11 speed is a very solid number for us. We don't really need more than that, and we will get more alien eyes. Okay, I was gonna wait until the end to show this, but as you can see, the damage dealt. This is what I was saying. Some people may think, oh, I should skip alien eyes so I can get more kills with my weapons, because Alienize will take your kills technically. I don't think that's really necessary. That might be a strategy for Endless. I've said this before, I have never played Endless, so I don't know exactly how the ethereal weapons work in Endless, if they stack up, just like they do in regular runs. But maybe that's a strategy for Endless. You can skip all the items that deal damage, so you can stack up your weapons even more. But yeah, like I said, it's not really necessary. You can see our damage is already, you know, more than strong enough, more than enough to clear everything out. So I actually think Alienize are quite helpful. Also, you do want to stand more centered if possible when you do have Alienize, because it makes it so that you get, you know, the max amount of damage out of it. Oh, this is interesting. We don't need max HP or luck. We're on wave 18, right? We're actually just going to take the materials. Lens, though, we will take. Oh, okay. This is ridiculous. 4 melee damage, 2 range damage, which is going to get doubled from our passive. Scope, this will also get doubled, and we get range. So we're back to even, flat even range, which is very nice. We do not need speed or armor. We're actually going to skip these. We don't need these. We can take crit chance, though. Crit chance is perfectly fine. And we'll take another Alienize. Okay, the damage on that is a little bit ridiculous. And this is fine. I don't think it's good on this character. The scepter only hits one enemy. It doesn't have piercing. And I don't think piercing is very good on this character, since you already have 3 melee weapons. So it's not really worth taking. And a baby with a beard. Unfortunately, I didn't take this early game, because I wanted you guys to see you don't need to get lucky to win, right? I kind of want to take it so I can show you guys the damage it deals. It does do quite a lot of damage. I am going to skip it here though, because in this case I don't really want to lose range. I don't think it's... We also do not need more AoE damage. This pretty much just helps you deal with, you know, big jump... Oh my goodness. Big groups of enemies more easily, which we're not struggling with at all. Okay, Ghost Flint, we can't... it's not that we can't afford, we don't need any of this. One more roll. Okay, handcuffs. You know what? I'll actually go ahead and lock this for the last wave, right? So once we get through this wave, we're going to be on the boss wave. So if you do manage to find a handcuff exactly on wave 19, then you might as well take it, right? Because you don't need to stack max HP once the run is over. So you can just take it and go into the final wave. Maybe if it was... I could have taken it just now, but I don't think we need it to clear out this wave. There's no boss, no elite. Nothing dangerous on this wave at all. We have a very... No, sorry. We have an excessive amount of damage, let's just put it that way. Right, so we don't really need that damage right now. We won't need it for the final boss either, but it will make it a little bit faster. And yeah, I mean, we can just stand in the middle now, right? No worries. I will move a little bit though, so I can clear out some more enemies. Also need to pick up these materials. Oh wait, give me the materials. Oh no. Okay, I left 300 on the ground. That's a lot more than I should have left on the ground. Let's just take more damage. Sure, why not? And then claw tree. We go handcuffs, then we get claw tree. And another one of these, and we're done. Let's go ahead and buy a lumberjack shirt. Why not? A victory lumberjack shirt. And yeah, okay, let's go ahead. Finish off the final wave. See how long it takes to kill this boss. Okay, that was a little slow. It took us 10 seconds to kill that boss. Let's see the invoker. Oh, he might get away from us. He's kind of dodging us a little bit. Okay, it took us about 10 seconds to kill each boss. That's not bad, right? We have done more than that. We did 10 seconds and 7 seconds before. That's the fastest in this series so far. And you can see here, 77% damage, 16% damage, 63 max health, 14 max health, and 5 max health, and 65% attack speed. So we pretty much got, how much is that? About 80 max HP and about 95% damage and 65% attack speed from our weapons stacking up. And then as for our items, the bag gave us one bag that cost us 22 materials, gave us 240 materials gained. one coupon, or sorry, two coupons, gave us 376 materials saved. And then we also have, what else? Alien Eyes, 130,000 damage dealt. So yeah, this is why I said this item is quite strong, right? Because of all our max HP, scales off max HP damage, or its damage that scales off max HP. This is very strong on this character, okay? And then we also have, what else? One more thing, right? Recycling Machine, 168 materials gained. I think if you get this much earlier, and sometimes you actually get this as a drop, right, from a loot crate, you should always take it. Always take this. If it's early game, it actually pays itself off very easily, even on characters where you don't necessarily get a ton of loot crates. But yeah, that's the run. Hope you guys enjoyed. And next time we will be playing the Loud, okay? Hope you guys look forward to it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it below. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you liked it. And subscribe, okay? Goodbye. Bye-bye.